Banless dropped, Rhoda released, and Snake Eye is still the best deck. This format has been super difficult for players and LGSs because, well, people aren't playing it. Regionals and YCSs are at record low attendance because you can't win without playing the best deck, right? Yubel Fiendsmith, Branded, Centurion, and Voiceless Voice. These decks can all perform, but can they even win? Can they break a Snake Eye board, and can Tenpai break theirs? When it comes to deck building this format, there are a lot of questions players need to answer. So what's my list?
I am super confident with this deck and super proud of how it turned out. I think all the ratios are, well, ironically perfect, and I likely won't be changing this deck for a while. So without further ado, let's get into the main deck. For the normal summons, we have 3 Low, obviously. 3 Diviner and 1 Trias as just 3 more copies of Low. Trias also being able to let you dodge hand traps if you just hard open it, which makes it less of a brick, but still a brick nonetheless. At least you can tribute it for your rituals. 2 Saphira. This is not standard. I think drawing 3 of this is just bad. You're not even able to go through 3 in a game. At most 2, and usually only 1, to be honest. And later in the non-engine, you'll see why this only being able to draw into 2 of it is not really an issue. For the engine we choose to play, 3 Nadir Servant and 1 Maximus. This is crazy. What's super important to note is that this card can add from graveyard, which means 2 things. 1, your opponent can bell it, and 2, if you hard open both of these, you can just ritual this off in order to add it back and still go full combo that way. Speaking of rituals, we play fairly small package, just 2 Skull Guardian, 1 Serravis, and 1 Pendulum Graph. This feels really good. For Serravis, you're able to play through a lot of hand traps, especially those Imperms and Veilers, so hard drawing this doesn't come up as much. You really do just want to search this card whenever you need it to put it on your choke point, which in some cases can just be that Skull Guardian, especially going second, and it is just a solid card to summon off your blessings on your opponent's turn, if you think that this Pendulum Graph will be less impactful in that matchup. That's it for the monsters. For the engine spells, we have 3 Barrier, 1 Blessing, and 1 Radiance. This is pretty standard. You can side out one of these, going second. I tend not to side out the trap. It's a really good Low target, just because Low places that card face up. And then Blessing is sort of the reason you play this deck. I don't know why people played Voiceless before Blessing was released. We play 2 Prayers and 2 Pre-Prep with a Prosperity. So basically 4 ritual spells and then an extra consistency card. This card's crazy. You don't really want 3 of it though, because you can only activate 1 per turn. But it is nice to have 2 of it, so you can use it as follow-up. Prayers, this card's broken. You do have to play 2. Drawing it's not terrible. You play 2, so if you draw this in Saphira, it's fine. You can add it back from Banish off Blessing, and its graveyard effect is just so powerful. And then Prosp, our deck doesn't need the extra deck that much. We definitely don't need all 15 cards. We can easily banish 6 and just get the last card we need. For the non-engine, we play 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 1 Magnemite. This card can search Saphira or Serravis or Pendulum Graph. This is super good. It means we don't have to play that 3rd Saphira because it's kind of terrible. And just having that 1 Bestial is super nice. Then we play 3 Imperm and 3 Dominus Purge. Dominus Purge is so powerful. You do not care about that lock at all. The only thing you need to remember is if you draw these cards, use them before the Purge, and just don't do what I used to do when I first picked up the deck. Don't accidentally go into SB and think, why can't I activate this card? Oh yeah, Dominus Purge. For the extra deck, starting off with the links, we play 1 Anima, 1 Almirage, 1 Secure Gardna as our link 1s. The Almirage Secure Gardna package is typically just in order to get that Maximus out of your hand. And the Anima just makes it super easy to summon your SP and banish an opponent's card going second. Going first, you can also IP into SP, but what's even better is IPing into that Dynamundo. You shuffle back a card, and revive a ritual, which will in turn revive low. IP makes your boards incredibly difficult to break, especially into Tenpai, where they like to board wipe with destruction. You can make IP low and Skull Guardian. They activate Raigeki, you go IP and low, IP in one of your rituals into Dynamundo. The Raigeki resolves, Dynamundo's not destroyed. Prayers will trigger engraves, summoning back Skull Guardian and the low. Your opponent goes for another Raigeki, you can still tribute Dynamundo and bring back a ritual, and your opponents use 2 Raigekis and you didn't even have to burn your negate. Then we play 1 Goddess to out towers and other difficult monsters. 1 Typhon, you don't special summon all that much, so you can really easily put out all your rituals, then slam this down as the extra interruption. Then we play 1 Meteor Burst as our target for Pendulum Graph. This just cooks Tenpai, there's nothing they can do it. Then for the Dogmatica stuff, we play 2 Entis, 1 Garura, 1 Ferrijit, 1 Herald, 1 Omega. Going second, you're either going to want to send these or these. Going first, you want to send these. And then with that going first and going second, depending on your matchup, you can throw Omega into the mix anywhere. You typically want to replace one of these 2. So going second, you'll replace this. Going first, you'll replace this. Or if you have all the ritual cards you need, you can even replace this going first. Omega is super useful into branded, so when you're technically giving them a +2 by letting them dump those fusions, you can Omega back 1, and because they don't really play hand traps, you can easily Skull Guardian the other. For the side deck, for the go first cards, we play 3 Judgment, 1 anti-spell, 1 there can be only 1, and 1 Call by the Grave. This deck is super powerful and super resilient going first, so the cards you're playing for going first, you want them to be cards that just say, if you draw this card, you win the game, and that's what these cards do. Judgment insulates your board even more than Extension into IP can, and is just super powerful, especially into Tenpai with those high impact cards, and being able to stop cards like Droplet if they're unable to send a trap. Anti-Spell and Teekboo, both limited, both super powerful floodgates, that in a lot of cases you can add off Prosperity. Just super strong cards that don't affect your deck all too much, due to you being able to ritual with cards like Blessing, which will already be face up on the field, and Saphira, which happens in Graveyard. Lastly, we have 1 Called By. If our opponent's playing a Shifter deck like Tenpai, this is super important. We can play through Shifter, but it's a lot easier if we can just Call By it and not worry about it. For going second, we chose the Hand Trap approach. That's 3 Droll, 2 Ogre, 2 Bell, and 2 Mourner. These cards are all super good. They're all really flexible as well. Our deck is super good at playing through back row, but being able to beat Lab with these 2 copies of Bell is just also super helpful. Mourner is incredibly generic. Ogre is great against the new Azamina stuff, and super strong against Fire King Island as well. And then Droll is also great against the new Snake Eye deck, and a few of those rogue options as well. That's it for the main, extra, and side deck, and we'll see you at locals.
I'm back, and I won locals with Voiceless Voice. 26 players, I got first, of course. Round 1, played against Tenpai, 2-0, because I'm goated. Won the die roll, but that doesn't really matter. I stopped his OTK game 1 by just making the god board through, I think it was just Ash. And then game 2, I couldn't play through Shifter, but I had enough hand traps to stop the OTK, and then turn 3, I built God Board because Shifter had worn off, and turn 5, I was able to get the kill. Round 2 against Tenpai again, once again, won the dice roll 2-0'd. Game 1, once again, to set up the God Board, he could not OTK. Game 2, he actually decides to go first. He sets the Buster Blader trap, normals Pydra. On normal, I go, because it was the first action he had made, in the main phase. I Trias Tribute Diviner from hand to summon Low from deck. Low place Blessing, and I have Guardian in hand. He reads Blessing, so he's like, oh, I'm just not going to summon anymore. He sets 4 cards, including the Buster Blader trap, passes to me in my draw phase. He goes Buster Blader, sets up the guy. I'm able to put enough bodies out just by using my spells like Blessing, and I think I top decked Prayers. I'm able to get enough bodies out that I can Goddess off the fusion, and then I go Saphira, and then I'm able to full combo from there because I hadn't used Low on field and I hadn't used Skull Guardian on field. Round 3, I played against Snake Eye Fire King Azamina. He didn't see any of the Azamina stuff, so it was a pretty chill game. Really nice guy though. Game 1, I set up a board into 0 hand traps, and he can't break it because voiceless board. Game 2, he makes full Fire King board because I hand trap his access through Witch to the Azamina Snake Eye stuff. And then I Magnum his IP, and then I just break the rest of the board with just Nadir sending double Entis and Omega to put back their Promethean. And then I build Ritual board when it gets back to his turn because he de-barriered Rituals. And I'm able to just protect my board really easily and kill him on the follow-up turn. Round 4. This game fucking sucked. He goes first to winning the die roll, sets up a board. I'm able to just really easily kill through it because I have a lot of practice into the Ubel board. Game 2 lasts 35 minutes. He goes first again. I can't fully break the board. I make sure to end on 0 monsters so that he can't kill me with the Ubel stuff. He gets me low. I build a board. I break his board fully on that turn 3. He's able to break my board mostly, and we go back and forth mostly breaking the board. Then it's my turn. His board is empty, his hand is empty, all 3 phantoms are in grave, he has no graveyard effects. I have 12,000 damage on board. I'm 5 seconds from entering the battle phase. He goes, that's time. I go, sure, I didn't hear them call time. He goes, yeah, that's time, man. And I was like, oh shit, I guess it's a draw. I pick up my cards, I put them in my deck box, I stand up, I look at the TV, which had been off. 3 minutes left. And I go, there's 3 minutes left. And he goes, you picked up your cards. I go, okay, if you want to win, that's how you can win. He extends his hand. I feel like kind of fucked for doing this. I just walked away. So we did draw that game. Next game, Snake Eye Fiend Smith Azamina, no Fire King stuff. Lose the die roll again. He goes first. I have no hand traps. I lose. Game 2, I play through Impermanent Ogre, and he can't out my board. And game 3, I brick on Guardian, Imperm, Droll. But he can't play through it either. Top deck low. Kill him. Undefeated, technically. I did have 1 draw, which should have been a win. But first place is first place. I'll see you next week.